What is up? Metal Gets Me High, episode 43. We got me, Al, we got Razor, and then we've got Rob from Torn in Half. How's it going, Rob?
How's it going?
Good, man. Really enjoyed the EP you guys put out this year. That was my introduction to you guys. Um, and I've been spinning you guys a lot lately, so that's what made us want to get you guys on. Uh, and it's just really killer, death metal, and I love just the imagery of it, all the black and white. Uh, One of my favorite EPs from the year, no doubt.
Right on. We appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah.
How did you get into heavy music?
Shit. I feel like back in the day, it started off with Slayer, a little bit of System of a Down and Corn, and then I came across Cannibal Corpse one day, and then it went from there. I found Cannibal Corpse, Suffocation, Black Dahlia Murder, and I went to a rabbit hole on YouTube. I remember. I got suspended freshman year of high school, and my parents were at work. I just sat at home and I just went on YouTube and found like clips of like fastest double bass, and that's where it all just started spider webbing out and branching off and finding like the heaviest stuff.
Yeah, I'd get that. I remember for me, it was like those YouTube hardest breakdowns, best breakdowns
Oh,
videos. It's
exactly.
funny that like is such a lane for people is YouTube. At what point did you kind of decide like, hey, I want to maybe start creating heavy music, not just being a fan of it?
Um, Honestly, just listening to a lot of riffs from like Alex Webster, and like I watch a lot of like biographies and like autobiographies, like the Majesty DVD from Black Dahlia, and like all those, and just seeing that, like like they're just expressing themselves, like putting like onto that onto the fretboard, and like kind of do that. I get some riffs in my head, and also I just like want to play live music. It's a fun outlet, and I absolutely enjoy it. It's something I thought of doing today, and here I am.
Sorry about that. I was
Yeah,
having a little technical difficulties.
that's super cool to hear. Like with bass, did you start with bass or did you start with guitar and then move into bass?
So I tried playing drums,
Okay.
and I dropped off from that, and then me and a couple of my friends decided, hey, let's just try to start like a band, and one of them was already playing drums. Yeah, I'll pick up bass, and then like it just kind of went from there. Like it was something I just did, and then I realized like I fell in love with it, and like wasn't expecting it, and I was like, I actually really enjoy playing this, and I've played ever since. Well, I played for a few, probably like 4 or 5 years, and then like I kind of put it down and like focused on work. And about 7 or 8 years ago, a buddy I met up at a bar with was like, "Hey, I'm in a death metal band, and like we need a bassist. You want to try out?" And I was like, "I haven't played bass in forever," but like the next day, I went out and played bass and started playing. And through those years, I ended up coming across all the homies I'm playing in bands with now, and that's how I met like Torn in Half, because I started playing with them just about beginning of last January of 2022. That Andy
Nice.
reached out, and at first I said no, and then I was like, you know what? Why not? And I've been with them ever since.
Hell yeah.
That's dope. Is Torn in Half like your your first band, or have you been in a lot of bands before that?
I've only been in two other bands, but I will say Torn in Half is my main focus, and my main band that like I put all my energy into.
That's sick, man. That's sick.
I have to ask, when you went from drums to bass, was it something that was kind of natural, or was it just completely off, or did it feel weird? How did that transition go?
It was honestly completely off, because I suck at drums. I tried it, and like the coordination, like I can't do it. I even tried to get on the kit now. I was like doing a mic check for Nick at Ralph's Diner a couple weeks ago. I'm like, I was like, get me off this thing. I'm butchering it.
You're all done.
And I've seen too, like, for you guys being a newer band, you guys have been very active in releasing stuff, and then even, it seems like you guys hit the road pretty hard recently and have some shows coming up. So for being a newer band, you guys got a lot going, which is super sick to see.
Yeah, we try to stay as busy as possible, and like, you know, basically that's it. We just try to stay as busy as possible and like name out there, because like that's all we want to do is just travel and play music.
Yeah, there's nothing better than it, I'm assuming. Like you go through a regular job and then you do that, and you're just like, "What the hell are we doing? Like,
Yeah,
what is this?"
for all
Rather
four
be
of
on
us
the road.
blue collar workers, and like it's like by getting all like dirty and greasy, and then like at night we're just tripping it up.
Fuck yeah.
That's most, I feel like, metal fans, like normies by day, and then at you have to go to your job and act like a civilized human being, I always say.
Yeah.
So that's like a fun duality of it. As far as like, these shows that you've played, how playing those shows and traveling has that been for you? Being that this is your first band.
It's a blast. Honestly, it's fun as shit. Being able to go to a different state and like seeing people that are play, like there's no better feeling I've ever felt in my life. You know, just the reach that our music has it was extremely unexpected to me. I mean, Andy's been in the music scene for a lot longer. Same with Nick, both the Nicks. To me, I've always just been kind of playing in like local. We stay in Boston, maybe like go out to like the next state over, like with the other two bands I'm in. But other than that, like it's it's pretty wild, and it's a real unreal feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You were talking about the reach. Like, what's like the one place where you heard like somebody heard it, or you guys got a comment from, and you're like, "How the hell did they find it over there?"
Uh, well, so just recently we were out and we did a fire in California and
Oh,
Nevada with Wrath of Gods, really super great dudes, and it was just people showing up, being like, "Hey, we heard you online, and like we heard that you're coming over, so like we had to make it out." And some people like drove like an hour to come see us, and it's just the internet is it's a
yeah.
wild.
That's dope.
Definitely. What was like going on tour? What was like the best part for you, and then the least fun part about it for you?
Ooh, I mean, the best was all the friends and homies we made. Every band that we played with throughout those days, like everyone was like super genuine, super kind. And we made a lot of good connections and like people that like I hope to see in the future. Um, and also the food was pretty good too. Never tried In and Out before, so that was cool. But Del
I gotta
Taco,
ask you, how is it? How is it?
uh,
What's your opinion?
um, I'd give it middle of the road. It
There
was
we
pretty.
go.
I'll
You
say,
can't. It's very consistent.
yeah,
It tastes the same every time.
Del Taco is definitely the winner for us right there.
I'm a Del Taco guy myself, so I feel you there.
But for like the probably the least good part about that was maybe just the traveling. I didn't realize how big California and Nevada was, because we started off in the IE, and then we went all the way up to Sacramento, which was like 7.5 hours, and then, like
Yeah.
when we went to Reno, and then from Reno to Vegas, like 6.5. Like beautiful views. Don't get me wrong, beautiful, because like I'm in I'm just north of the city of Boston, and it's nothing but woods and trees. We don't really see too
Okay.
many mountains, and like just plain, like it's so flat, and you can see until it just fogs out, and you're like, oh, wow, I've never been
Yeah,
to before, so it was
it's trippy.
Yeah.
See, we're Californians, so we're, like, used to that, and we always, like, talk about how it's funny the other side of the country, you drive 3 hours in a different direction, you're probably in a different state, but
Yeah.
here, you're in the same state, but it's, like, a completely different terrain, different lifestyle. And you see that especially where we're at, we're in, what's called the Central Valley, so we're, like, an hour and a half away from Sacramento, hour and a half away from the Bay Area, and about, like, 4 and a half, 5 hours away from Southern California, so, like, we have all of those different, places near us, or like, the place in California you don't wanna live in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we lucked out.
Being from Boston, Boston's always known to have, a super, very healthy, heavy music scene. Why do you think that it's so healthy out there?
Um, yeah, that's a good one. I mean, everyone's I guess probably so close together. You go to any show at like the few venues that we have that still throw metal shows, and every person you bump into is normally in one or two bands that you've either played with before or just the everyone's always networking, always trying to support one another, and you show up to a show and it's a homie fest. So I mean, that's probably what gets it like why it's like so healthy and people are so like strong and uh, crap. Not too with talking.
You're good, man. But
Um, what were you gonna say?
I think it's cool because one of the things I noticed with like the bands coming from your scene is a lot of them are so young. Like you think of like Frog Mallet, Bonginator, Wretched Inferno. Those guys are young people, and they're really starting to make a name for themselves. And you could add you guys to that list as well. It's fun watching a scene from afar like us. It's like, oh, look at Boston, freaking
Yeah,
killing it with all the young death metal bands.
Yeah.
yeah. I remember playing with the Wretched Inferno boys about like 3 or 4 years ago, and actually meeting their parents there, because those kids were like I think like freshmen or sophomores in high school.
Mhm.
I think they just graduated now, but it's just wild to see. Yeah, those dudes definitely rip it up. We're definitely on the bit of the older side of range. I think both besides our vocalist, who's about I think he's 24, 25, but the rest of us are all in our early to the mid 30s.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, the
Uh,
scene forever always growing.
yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed with especially with those bands that I was saying, it's the whole East Coast, and we've talked about it all the time. Yeah, Boston's fucking killing it. Ohio, the whole New York scene, that whole area just is tearing it up right now.
Ohio was pushing some gnarly band.
Hell yeah.
Dude, I love seeing it too, and I think, something that we kinda touched on there, just heavy music in general is really killing it, and part of it is because, you're starting to see a lot more young bands. It's not just Cannibal Corpse, Obituary, all the old bands. You're getting those older bands taking out younger bands, and it's being brought to more people's attention. You're seeing so many hardcore bands playing with death metal bands. There's a lot of crossover there, and that's only gonna help heavy music, I feel like. As far as like you with heavy music, are you somebody who checks out like new releases on the regular, or do you mostly just stick to the stuff that you like and has influenced you?
Um, a little bit of both. I mean, I definitely have had like the same playlist on repeat for like a couple months now, but when I see like a band like I always loved or like followed and I see it's like, oh, new single or anything of that matter, like I always check it out just to like see what direction they're going in next, because some people they'll come out with a freshman album, their sophomore album will be like completely different, or you'll notice like they change the tone, different tune, all that.
Yeah, I definitely know what you mean. I only listen to the first single myself just because I want to know the direction. I think it's cool. Like it's interesting to see how many singles nowadays come out before the record. It's like, oh dang, you're like, a lot of bands releasing like 40% of the album before
Yeah.
the album. But like that's just people's attention span these days. Um, as far as with your band, your releases, you have the 2 EPs, and then you have the split with Maul, Path to War, and Hanging Fortress. Is that something you guys are like will continue doing going EPs, or at some point do you guys plan on doing a full LP?
Well, so actually, for the next 2 months, we're going to be kind of like uh, working on at the moment. We have one show coming up tomorrow, and then after that, we have nothing planned until June, and we're gonna play with Terminal Nation and Visions. But prior to
Okay.
that, to be hunkering down because, as you know, it's cold up here, so we're gonna stay inside.
Yeah.
An LP, and we actually do have a split in the making. As well.
Oh,
Hell
heck
yeah,
yeah.
there we go. Hey, shout out Terminal Nation, shout out Morbid Visions. They are some of our favorite guests we've had on.
Yeah,
Both of them, they're fucking awesome. Evan and Stan are fucking great.
I'm stoked to kick with those dudes.
And
Hell
that's another place. You would never think that Little Rock, Arkansas would have, a healthy scene, and those are two bands putting Little Rock on their back, and I love to see that.
Oh yeah.
As far as like the recording of this last EP, um like as a bass player, where do you usually find yourself fitting in the writing process?
Uh, Little things here and there. Andy is, I would say, the mastermind behind all the riffs. He just has an infinite library of just left and right. Like it's like maybe it's like, oh, maybe I have something to write, and then like we get into the jam room and he already had a song completely written out. Like this is what we're doing. This is what's going. This thing's gonna be a banger, and boom. By the end of the day, we have that
yeah.
almost
You guys are like, holy shit, this was in your head. This is great.
for it. But
So
I think with the LP coming up, I got some riffs that I had that like definitely want to put on some paper and like add to some songs. Um, but for now, just we're going with the flow, and his creative juices are flowing. I ain't gonna get in those. I'm not gonna get in the way.
Hell yeah.
it's fair, So does that mean that Andy's the band dad?
Oh yeah, he for sure is the band dad. He keeps
Okay.
in line, and you know, he's always looking out for the best interest in the band, and he's never made a bad judgment call. So that's he,
You can't go. He's batting 1,000. You can't go wrong with
yeah.
that.
I'm gonna agree, and with every release that the band has, put out, it really has gotten stronger every time. I absolutely love the guitar tones. The riffs are great. Drumming's great. It's like I said, it's very strong music, and it stands out. Which that's I definitely feel like I could see this on my year end list on my EPs.
Hell yeah, I appreciate that.
As far as more recent music, what are some like recent songs or albums that you find yourself enjoying lately?
Uh, um, well, there was that new single that Skin Ticket just came out with called Lust, and I've been listening to that a lot. Those dudes throw down. For others, I mean, recent album, that new Bog album, like that that shit slaps, man. That shit was from front to back. I couldn't get enough of it.
It's fucking ridiculous. The whole thing.
I was think the song "Hunger for Your Insides," like it just blew my mind. That was a good one. I'm more excited. Like, there's a bunch of bands that are friends with that are coming out with some albums pretty soon. Like Hanging Fortress recording, and I'm stoked to hear that. That's length. Um, I heard Tomb Sentinel is almost done. Basically, all the bands from Ohio are just to push out just absolute brutality, and I'm very excited.
Dude,
Those,
I can't wait for that Tomb Sentinel too. That's I see those guys are on like their first tour right now.
yeah, I think
Uh,
it was yesterday was their first show.
yeah, man, that's a band that I definitely want to catch, and a band that I feel like is really slept on that shouldn't be.
Definitely. Yeah, they especially like that. I mean, Devin sounds fucking great, but the whole band in general, it's funny. Everything that Devin touches is just fucking gold.
So are and then you guys are now on Redefining Darkness, right? How long have you guys been on that label for?
So they Torn got put onto that before I joined the band. If I were to guess, I think it's been about like a maybe a year and a half, 2 years. I think they helped with Bible, the first
Okay.
EP, and um, with this EP that we released, we more went in the direct with Night Shift merch and Terminus Hate City, and they helped us out with that a lot. Um, as further with redefining, I feel like that's I'm not 100% sure on where it's with them. I mean, nothing bad. Like we're
Yeah.
absolutely those guys are great, um, but yeah, I'm not sure the definite answer on that.
No, no problem at all. Think we appreciate your honesty. Um, Being that you guys have recently, been on tour and probably have some stuff working, who's a band that you would absolutely love to tour with? Who's would you say is like your dream band to go on tour with?
Ooh, dream bands. Um, Me personally would either Cannibal Corpse or Suffocation. I would love to go and just hit the road with those dudes. I could definitely say that like Black Dahlia Murder would be like one of the other boys in the band's favorite band to tour with. Um, in the realm of our style, I mean the Bog Boys, Mutilatred, like just love to kick it with those dudes and travel the country with them.
Yeah, Mutilatred's another band that is just they had my top album of the year last year. Like
Yeah,
it fucking it killed it. That's as heavy as it gets.
but not having that shit was made me light, like it was absolute chaos and just getting hit in the face with every single like,
Repeatedly.
I loved how like every song on the album too, like the name of the track was like some of the heaviest stuff you've ever heard. Like it once an album gets to like that level of detailed where every album name of the song, the album cover, and the album just being so in your face, like they
Was
really
it
hit some
smashed
gold.
by a slab of concrete or something
yeah.
like that?
Another one was like kind of clogged.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the shitted and then out.
Shit, yeah. Yeah, that's definitely they're as heavy as it gets in my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Um, so we'll kind of start winding it down a little bit. We appreciate your time, and I'm glad that we finally got to be able to do this.
Oh yeah.
If somebody came to you and was like, "Hey, I want to check out this heavy music that you're into," what are like 3 or 4 albums or artists that you'd be like, "Hey, check this out. If you enjoy this, you're gonna enjoy heavy music."
All right. Uh, I will say this one was a big one to me. Was Campbell's uh, crap, Gallery of Suicide. That album.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay, yeah.
Definitely start off with that because like they also like they had mentals in there where it was like Corpse Grinder was just taking a step back because I believe that was actually his first album he joined in on after Barnes left.
Yeah.
And, there's definitely some Dynamite songs in there. Um, I would definitely say Nocturnal and from Black Dahlia. Both those albums were killer. Um, this one's probably gonna be an odd one, but Gojira. Was it from Mars to Sirius?
Yeah.
That's a fucking
Sure.
fantastic album right
Yeah.
there, man.
Like I wasn't the Way of All Flesh or the Way of All Flesh, but like that one, like Flying With. I remember.
It's a journey. It's the whole thing is a journey. You could it's the best way to take in any song on that album is to listen to it all together for sure.
Like I remember just putting those on when I was a kid and just like listening to that and just like probably one of the reasons why I have tinnitus now, but like having it full volume, like just killing my drums. And ooh, you know, I probably Slayer, Season of the Abyss.
Okay.
Fuck
Start off
I
yeah.
like
I like the way, the path you kind of chose where you got the death metal, and you have, which is like more classic being that's Cannibal Corpse. Then you got, the more modern take of death metal, which the Black Dahlia Murder, and then some thrash with Slayer, and then Gojira, like one of the biggest bands right now. I feel like I always tell people that's out of all the bands I've seen live, uh, the time seeing them at like a smaller venue, they are they're one of the best bands, man. Like
yeah,
I know
They really are.
you may
they
not
so great
mess
live.
with the newer releases, but even then, I still like them. It's just different.
Like them and like Sugar, like seeing both of them live, like it's it's almost better than listening to it on the CD. You know,
Yeah.
their timing, like it's just incredible. I wish I one day will hold like a fraction of that talent that they have. You know.
Well, you
You
guys are fucking ripping it up, so you're there,
it's
baby.
funny hearing you say that just because, like, I've just recently, for the past couple of months, picked up guitar and, like, with the very limited knowledge that I have now, when I, like, listen to music, I have so much better of an appreciation because 'cause I'm like, "I couldn't fucking do that. I don't think I could ever do what this person is doing." Uh, it's it's definitely a new appreciation that I have, and so, like, you saying that about Gojira, that's what I think about, bands like yours or, Sango Sugabog. I'm like, I will never be able to do
I
that."
could never.
Even back, I from when I started playing, I picked it back up 8 years ago to now. Like, I mean, there's been definitely been a significant difference, but like it's it's the only thing I got. You know, I work, I come home, maybe rip some video games, and then just play bass. You know, don't try to go anymore. So it's just
That
practice. What kind of guitar did you get?
So, I got a cool story. So, I had this really crappy guitar that, like, I got for a birthday or Christmas as a kid, probably, like, when I was, like, 10 to 12 years old. It's, like, some crappy Target guitar, um and then I've tried it as far as, like, playing guitar multiple times in my life, but then I just very seriously started again probably, like, 5 months ago, and, one of my managers at work, like, found out, and he, has lent me for the past couple of months a Fender, uh, Telecaster that I play on.
Right
So
on.
it's funny because, like, playing from this really crappy Target guitar to that guitar, uh, there's a big difference I learned, from, like, a not good guitar to, something on the nicer end, and it's really spoiled me. And then I play that on, like, a little, orange combo amp that I got, like, on a 18th birthday, and then, just recently got an HM2 pedal because I was like, "Man, I wanna, like,
Yeah.
act like I know what I'm doing a little bit."
But once you get into that game, that's a rabbit hole that just doesn't seem to end. That's how like Andy got his tone, because like I swear it's almost like every other week he's like, all right, I picked up this new pedal. All right, I traded this pedal for this pedal, and like his like stays the same, but his pedals are just getting larger and larger.
He's just got a stack that doesn't stop growing.
Like running off of like a whole PV setup, but like I'm soon to switch to dark glass. I was using a dark glass head when we were out in California. The bassist of Wrath of Gods was kind enough to let me borrow it, and I think that's the direction I'm gonna go in next. I've had my head for about 7 or 8 years now, and she's starting to get tired on me, you know. But the pedals, like, it's that's a dangerously fun hole. I'm sitting on 4 right now that have been my main, and I just I don't know if I want to make the board bigger and just keep on adding on to it. And like I just want the lowest, grimiest sound possible. And I feel like, you know, you can just keep on going deeper and deeper and getting sludge.
Find a deeper tone every pedal. You're like, oh,
Yep.
damn, all right.
Like, all right, now I gotta go. What should I trade for this? Nah, fucking, I'm just gonna together.
Dude, I'm with you there, because if you were to look on my algorithm, it is all cooking videos and freaking like guitar pedal videos where, it's like 2 different or 4 different HM2 pedals. Here's the different sound on each of them on different guitars, on different heads and different cabinets, and it's like just 5 months ago, I wouldn't know the difference, but like I hear little things now. I'm like, oh, okay, like I like this pedal more. I like the Waza more than this or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I because part of the reason I wanted to play guitar is because I want to kind of delve into playing some death metal. So Razor over here, he's learning how to play the bass, and he's
Hell
already
yeah.
way better of a bassist than I am a guitarist.
What kind of bass?
Oh man, it's just a little cheap one from where'd you get it from, Al? From what is
From
it?
Amazon.
Guitar Center or Amazon? Yeah, Amazon. It's just so I can fucking see if I know what I'm doing. And yeah, it's I've been playing it since December, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun after work to come out here and just fuck around with it. Um, yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it.
I would say this. One thing that's helped me is Sweetwater. If you ever heard of that company, that place, it's like no interest for like 48 months. So like, and they'll give you like a credit, and I'm just like, all right. Second, I got approved. Like the day I tried to apply, like I bought like I ran the card all the way up. Ended up base. I used to be an Ibanez, little Ibanez slut. I had like 4 of those things, but I sold them, like sold most of them off. And right now, I'm rocking. I just picked this up about 3 months ago. It's an LTD ESP.
Oh, damn, that is nice. That's really nice.
It's just all black. It's simple. It's got just one low end pickup. You know, pretty high
Yeah,
end.
I love that matte finish on it.
Yeah, this thing is.
Yeah.
I've never been more happy with a bass in my life, and I've had no problems, knock on wood, you know, yet with it. But it's just a solid guitar, and the sound of it's nasty. Like I don't need no high end. This is what I solely use for 1.5. I use my other basses for this, but like it's just.
And you said that's what'd you say was Sweetwater? That was the name of the company? I need to check it out.
They do. They have. I bought like all my equipment from. You know, at first, like the drummer of my band, like he like had an like, yo, run it up for me, build my credit, and then like one day I was like, oh fuck that, I want to build my credit, so like I did it all up, and they're wicked helpful too. I think they're actually out of Ohio. No, they're out of Indiana.
Okay.
They actually like will call you. Like I remember once I made an order for like a guitar case, and like I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll get some picks while I'm at it, so I just don't have to like go to the store. And then like, they called me up the next day, like, hey, we're real sorry, but like we're out of those picks. But like, you know, next order you have, or if like you want to send it, and I was like, dude, don't sweat it. And it's $5 picks, and I don't care. I don't
Yeah.
like very in person, very nice people, and yeah, definitely a company that go through. You'll like them.
Hell yeah, that's dope. I need to check them out because yeah, I've been just looking at some and I'm like, dude, there you can go down a rabbit hole in that itself.
Well, we will leave you with the last question, and then we'll post this a little bit later on when I'm at work, and we'll put all your guys the band's links in the description. That way, people check out the EP and buy some merch. Hopefully,
Nice.
last question is: how does metal get you high?
When I hear that one riff and it gives me that brain shiver, you know, I don't know what I'm talking about, but like you feel it inside your
In the
skull.
back of your head, bro. Yeah.
You're like, that's my high, you know. That's I chase that, you know. I'm a riff junkie, you know. I'm looking for that one transition where I'm like, oh fuck, like that's got me on a level where like I'm gonna put that on repeat because that makes me feel fucking good. It makes me feel like it almost puts me in the position where that person's doing it, where I'm like, I want to see myself doing that, and like that feeling, you know, makes me
Fuck yeah.
high as shit.
I know it's
Hell
because we just
yeah.
recently hit a show. We saw the Acacia Strain for the first time. I don't know how I haven't seen them. And
Rip.
dude, they opened with Beast, and like that was probably the most violent room I've ever been in my life. That there were a lot of people in that pit getting messed up. I usually delve and go into the pit for a couple songs. There was no shot of me getting in that pit.
I think they've
Yeah.
been for years and years after that album came out, because that was Death. No, wait, not
That's
Death is Good.
Wormwood.
Wormwood. That's what
I
going.
think
Worm.
that's 2011, somewhere around there, 12.
I think so. Yeah, because what Continent came out in 2007 or eight.
Yeah, 2007 or 8 sounds about right.
Yeah, but yeah, Wormwood, nasty. Yeah, they've been with that song forever. They're actually just coming through here. They're on tour with was it Fit for an
Full of
Autopsy?
Hell. Yeah, Full of Hell, Fit for an Autopsy, and Primitive Man.
No, hell yeah. Actually, we know a Blue that plays bass in Fit for an Autopsy. He just lives just north of the city as well, I believe. I think he's in New Hampshire.
Oh
Um,
shit.
he plays for a sick band called Dysentery. If you ever heard of them,
I haven't. I'll have to check them out.
Check them out.
Dysentery?
check. They are just ignorant, like brutal, beat down like metal. Those guys are. It's very slammy. These guys are sick. I played with them a couple years ago, and it's just violence. It's violence. Their latest album, Fragments, you definitely check that one. It came out a couple years back, but you guys will definitely dig that.
Fuck
Okay,
yeah. I'm gonna
I'm
check them out.
definitely check it out. Well, we really appreciate your time. If you have anything you want to plug or anything, I know you mentioned you had a show. Take it away, man.
All right. I would say Torn in Half's playing tomorrow at the Silhouette in Alston. And then after that, we have a at Ralph's Rock Diner in Worcester, June 3rd, with Terminal Nation, Morbid Visions, Severed Boy. It's gonna be outdoors too, which is gonna be fun. And yeah, and, hope to see anyone that's watching this there. It's gonna be a killer show, and it's gonna be nice and warm out too. So kick it.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, we really appreciate it, Rob, and enjoy the rest of your day, man.
Right on. Thank you. I
Hell yeah.
appreciate it.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it, man.
Later, y'all.